Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Bold and the Beautiful's Romy Park shares tragic loss and how Dawn Diamond came to her rescue. The Bold and the Beautiful B&B. Spoilers reveal that Luna Nozawa's Lisa Yamada. Sinister secrets led to Bill Spencer, Dawn Diamond, and Poppy Nozawa's Romy Park relationship falling apart. Now that Poppy has moved in with Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, Bill's attention is currently back on Katie Logan, Heather Tom, and fixing their family. However, Romy Park had the privilege of working with Dawn Diamond as her on-screen love interest and main co-star for quite some time. It's clear that Park thinks the world of Diamond, especially after the way he came to her rescue behind the scenes. In a new interview with SOD, Romy Park opened up about facing a tragic loss 2 weeks after she got hired on B&B Park, lost her beloved dog, Bear, who she admitted was like a child to her. As a result, Park struggled early in her run. Although Park plastered a smile on the surface, she was still dealing with a lot of pain on the inside. The situation changed drastically for Park once she started working with Diamond. From the very first day, Park admitted that Diamond had her in stitches laughing. Instead of all the tears that Park no doubt shed over Bear, she found herself crying with laughter thanks to how funny Diamond is. And I ended up telling him later, I thought it would be so long before I could laugh again. And you had me laughing on the first day. That's how I feel about Dawn. I love him. He makes me laugh all the time, and it's really such a joy to work with him, Park said. Park has also found herself turning to Diamond for advice along the way. Dawn Diamond has been in the soap business for many years, so he certainly knows a thing or two about the world of daytime dramas. Since Bill is an established character and a fan favorite, Park was thrilled over the chance to be paired up with him. As for what the future holds, it's tough to make long-term predictions about soap pairings. Things may look bleak for Bill and Poppy right now, but anything can happen down the road. Romy Park, known for her talent and grace on The Bold and the Beautiful, recently shared a deeply personal tragedy that sent ripples of emotion through her life. Her world, once filled with the lights and cameras of daytime television, was turned upside down by a loss so profound it forced her to confront the darkest corners of her heart. In her grief, it wasn't just the character she portrayed that had to find a way to survive, it was Romy herself. It all started when Romy received devastating news about a close family member. A routine day on set was interrupted by a phone call that brought her to her knees. Her beloved brother, who had always been her pillar of strength and laughter, had passed away suddenly. The weight of this loss, compounded by the demands of her career and the public eye, seemed unbearable. As Romy recalled in a heartfelt interview, it was like the world stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. Everything I had ever known felt like it was slipping away, and I was powerless to stop it. For an actor, being in the public eye means there's little room for private moments of pain. Romy had to continue with her work, pretending everything was fine while her heart was shattered. But something had changed in her, something that wouldn't let her hide the sorrow. She tried to push through the pain, but the emotional toll of such a sudden loss, coupled with the pressures of filming, became too much. Enter Dawn Diamond, her Bold and the Beautiful co-star, whose portrayal of the suave and sometimes ruthless Bill Spencer has earned him legions of fans. Behind the sharp-tongued businessman he plays on screen, Dawn has always been known as a compassionate friend and a stalwart supporter of his castmates. And during this difficult time, Dawn Diamond came to Romy's rescue in ways she could never have imagined. Dawn had noticed the change in Romy almost immediately. On set, her vibrant energy was replaced with a quiet stillness, her radiant smile dimmed. The bond they had built over years of working together had given him insight into her moods, and it didn't take long for him to realize that something was terribly wrong. One afternoon, between takes, Dawn approached Romy in the makeup trailer. "Hey," he said, his voice soft but filled with concern. "Are you okay?" Romy hesitated, knowing that revealing her pain could make her feel even more vulnerable. But there was something about Dawn's presence that made her feel safe. She broke down, sharing the heartache of losing her brother, the person who had been her protector and confidant. Dawn listened without interrupting, his hand on her shoulder as she spoke through tears. When she finished, she was exhausted but felt an odd sense of relief. Talking to someone who genuinely cared, who wasn't just asking out of obligation, was the first step in her healing. "You don't have to go through this alone," Dawn told her. "We're family here. Whatever you need, we've got your back." From that day forward, Dawn became more than just a colleague to Romy, he became her rock. He would check on her daily, making sure she wasn't pushing herself too hard. On days when Romy felt too overwhelmed to continue, Dawn would offer a kind word, or even pull her aside for a quick heart-to-heart, knowing that sometimes all she needed was a moment to breathe. But Dawn's support didn't stop with words. He took action to ensure Romy had the time and space to grieve. He spoke with the show's producers, explaining her situation and requesting some flexibility in her schedule. This act of kindness allowed Romy to take a short leave from the show, giving her the time she so desperately needed to mourn her loss. The producers, sympathetic to her situation, worked around her absence without hesitation. In her time away from the spotlight, Romy focused on healing. But even then, Dawn's kindness extended beyond the set. He would check in on her, sending her messages of encouragement and humor, reminding her that she was never truly alone. He even arranged for her to visit his family, knowing that being around supportive people would offer her a sense of normalcy and comfort. One evening, Dawn invited Romy over for dinner with his family. Surrounded by the warmth and love of his wife and children, Romy felt a moment of peace she hadn't experienced in months. For a few hours, she wasn't an actress dealing with heartbreak. She was just Romy, a person who needed laughter and connection. Dawn's family embraced her as one of their own, giving her the space to smile again. As weeks passed, Romy slowly found her way back to the set of The Bold and the Beautiful. While the pain of losing her brother would never fully go away, she had begun to find strength in her memories of him and in the support she had received from her friends, especially Dawn. She returned to work with a renewed sense of purpose and gratitude, determined to honor her brother's memory by living fully, even in the face of overwhelming grief. In interviews following her return, Romy opened up about the importance of having a support system during times of tragedy. "Losing my brother was the hardest thing I've ever gone through, but having someone like Dawn in my corner made all the difference. He didn't have to go out of his way for me, but he did. He reminded me that there's more to life than work, that it's okay to not be okay, and that true strength comes from allowing others to help when you need it most." Romy's story is one of resilience, friendship, and the power of human kindness. In a world that can often feel isolating, especially in the entertainment industry, Dawn Diamond's compassion and unwavering support became a beacon of hope for her. He showed that behind the glitz and glamour of daytime television, real connections and deep friendships are formed, and those relationships can be life-saving in times of despair. Today, Romy continues to thrive on The Bold and the Beautiful, but her experience has changed her. She is more open about her feelings, more willing to ask for help, and more appreciative of the people in her life. And through it all, she remains grateful for Dawn Diamond, the co-star who became her hero when she needed one most.